Canada is once again at the center of global economic attention after reports claim that the country has signed 12 new trade deals, a development that has sparked intense discussion among economists, political analysts, and business leaders around the world. At the same time, the spotlight has turned toward the United States, where President Donald Trump's team is reportedly engaged in new trade negotiations as global competition continues to intensify. While the exact claim of 12 newly signed trade deals has not been officially confirmed by Canadian authorities, the broader discussion reflects Canada's ongoing efforts to expand its international trade relationships and strengthen its position in the global economy. For years, Canada has relied heavily on international trade as one of the key drivers of its economic growth. With a relatively small domestic market compared to the United States, Canada has consistently looked beyond its borders to create new opportunities for businesses, manufacturers, farmers, and exporters. By improving access to international markets, Canadian companies can sell more products abroad, attract foreign investment, and create new jobs at home. This long-term strategy has helped Canada build trade relationships with partners across Europe, Asia, and the Indo-Pacific region. The latest reports have generated widespread debate because they suggest Canada may be moving faster than many expected in expanding its global economic partnerships. If these agreements continue to develop successfully, they could strengthen Canada's influence in international trade while reducing dependence on any single export market. Diversifying trade has become an important objective for many governments as global supply chains continue to evolve following years of economic uncertainty and geopolitical tensions. Meanwhile, attention has shifted toward the United States, where trade policy remains a major political and economic issue. President Donald Trump's administration has consistently argued that previous trade agreements failed to deliver fair outcomes for American workers and businesses. Instead of simply signing new agreements, the administration has emphasized renegotiating existing deals, encouraging domestic manufacturing, and reducing trade imbalances through tougher negotiations. Supporters believe this strategy protects American industries and strengthens long-term economic security, while critics argue that prolonged negotiations and tariff disputes can create uncertainty for businesses and investors. The comparison between Canada's expanding trade network and America's negotiating strategy has fueled speculation about which country is better positioned for future economic growth. Analysts note that the two neighboring countries are pursuing different approaches to achieving similar goals. Canada has focused on expanding international partnerships and increasing market access, while the United States has prioritized securing what it considers stronger and more balanced agreements before committing to long-term trade arrangements. Business communities on both sides of the border are watching these developments closely. Industries including automotive manufacturing, agriculture, technology, energy, and natural resources all depend heavily on stable international trade relationships. Any major change in trade policy can affect investment decisions, supply chains, employment opportunities, and consumer prices. Companies that export goods internationally are particularly interested in how these negotiations could influence tariffs, customs procedures, and market access in the coming years. Financial markets are also paying close attention. Investors understand that successful trade agreements can encourage economic growth by increasing exports, attracting investment, and improving business confidence. At the same time, uncertainty surrounding negotiations can create volatility in currency markets and stock exchanges. As governments continue discussing future trade arrangements, investors remain cautious while monitoring every new announcement. Although the headlines have attracted significant public interest, experts caution that international trade negotiations are often far more complex than they appear. Agreements can take months or even years to finalize, and announcements about negotiations do not always lead to immediate economic changes. For now, the world is watching closely as Canada continues expanding its global trade ambitions while the United States works to secure agreements that align with its own economic priorities. The coming months may reveal whether Canada's momentum will translate into lasting economic advantages or whether America's negotiating strategy will ultimately deliver stronger results on the global stage. Canada's reported progress in expanding its trade relationships has raised an important question across global markets. Will these agreements provide a lasting economic advantage, Or is the United States preparing a stronger response through a new round of negotiations? As discussions continue behind closed doors, analysts believe the next phase of international trade could determine which country is better positioned to lead North America's economic future. President Donald Trump's negotiating team has maintained that its objective is not simply to sign more agreements but to secure better ones. According to officials, every trade deal must protect American workers, strengthen domestic manufacturing, and reduce long-standing trade imbalances. This approach has shaped U.S. trade policy for years and continues to influence negotiations with several major trading partners. Supporters argue that taking more time during negotiations can produce stronger long-term results, while critics believe that lengthy discussions may allow competitors to move ahead in building new economic partnerships. Canada, meanwhile, has continued presenting itself as a reliable trading partner committed to expanding international cooperation. Canadian exporters have benefited from broader market access in several regions, allowing businesses to reach more customers beyond North America. Government officials have repeatedly emphasized the importance of diversification, arguing that reducing dependence on a single market helps protect the country's economy during periods of global uncertainty. The impact of these trade developments extends far beyond government offices. Manufacturers, farmers, technology companies, and energy producers are all watching closely because future agreements could influence where businesses invest, how products move across borders, and which industries experience the fastest growth. Small businesses are equally interested, as easier access to foreign markets can create new opportunities for exports and international partnerships. Economists say the competition between Canada and the United States is not simply about the number of agreements signed. The true measure of success will depend on how effectively those agreements increase trade, attract investment, create jobs, and strengthen long-term economic growth. A trade agreement on paper does not automatically guarantee economic success. Its real value depends on implementation, business confidence, and the willingness of companies to take advantage of new opportunities. Financial markets are expected to continue reacting to every major announcement from both governments. Investors often view trade policy as one of the key factors influencing economic performance, currency values, and corporate earnings. Even a single breakthrough in negotiations can affect global markets within hours, making trade discussions one of the most closely followed issues in international business. At the same time, experts caution that many headlines circulating online can oversimplify highly complex negotiations. International trade agreements involve detailed discussions covering tariffs, digital commerce, investment protections, intellectual property, environmental standards, labor regulations, and customs procedures. Final agreements often require months, or even years, before they are fully implemented. As both countries continue pursuing their respective strategies, the global business community will be watching every development. Whether Canada's expanding trade network delivers a significant long-term advantage or the United States secures stronger agreements through continued negotiations remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the outcome of these trade discussions will play an important role in shaping the economic future of North America and could influence global commerce for years to come.